Welcome back to the Injury Prone Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm here with Edwin Porras, physical therapy, medical analyst, fantasypoints.com. Coming to you from the Car Files. I found it appropriate to give you a Car Files update this week simply because I have no time. So I'm going to go ahead and give you this update now, and then we'll post it. And I want it to be as quick hitting and as useful as possible. So today I want to talk about Mike Evans, Cooper Kupp. We'll give you the Cooper Kupp date, and also talk about a little bit of Aaron Jones. So if you want to go the full breakdown of every fantasy football relevant player, go to fantasypoints.com. And when you go to fantasypoints.com, you're going to go to the injury report, and you're going to see the full thing. You'll read it right there. But today I want to go over the three guys. Number one, Mike Evans. Mike Evans originally suffered a hamstring strain, I want to say in 2018, and it was a big one, right? He was out like 7+ weeks. I remember the conversation being about whether he was going to have surgery or not. So this hamstring stuff has followed him through his entire career. He's been called a game time decision, but he's off the injury report now. I do think that he goes because he's been playing through these hamstring strains throughout the years if you go back and look at the injury report. But I don't think, especially given the fact that he's playing against the Ravens, that this is going to be a ceiling game for him. On the year, from a points per game basis, he's wide receiver 20. You have to plug him in. But from a DFS perspective, from a cash game perspective, or any of the props out there, I wouldn't feel confident betting on Mike Evans because that re-injury risk continues to follow him everywhere. He's only getting older as the season goes on, and he didn't practice for 2 days this week, so there's a very real possibility that this is still an issue, even though he's off the report. Cooper Kupp, average amount of time wide receivers miss with a with a high ankle sprain, 2.5 weeks. Cooper Kupp's missed much more time than that. He's been limited all week in practice. I understand they have a Thursday night game. Sean McVay won't commit to Cooper Kupp playing, but I can't think of a time where Sean McVay, and maybe I'm wrong here, came out and actually said, yeah, dude's fine. He's going to play. Everything's good, right? Last year in 2023, Sean McVay had a lot of guys that were limited all week and ended up playing, Puka Nacua being one of them. So, 4 days, I don't really think makes that big of a difference. Whether they wait to activate him in week 7 versus week 8 when they play on Thursday night, I'm not sure that's going to make a big difference, make or break Cooper Kupp's year. So, Cooper Kupp is active. You start Cooper Kupp. I mentioned from July, I was absolutely unbearable, insufferable talking about how Cooper Kupp's not washed. I think week 1 proved that. So, he won't be 100%. You do see a dip about 33% of fantasy production in the average wide receiver. But, of course, Cooper Kupp is not average. I think that he can still provide you a decent floor if he's active. I'd be careful with him in cash, but I actually think I might play him in cash a little bit just because that floor is probably going to be just fine. But just don't expect necessarily like a big ceiling game from him this week, especially his first week back. But hey, maybe he proves us wrong, right? Last time we saw him play, he was obviously the same Cooper Kupp that we know and love. So that's the update there. The last one is Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has been limited or didn't practice and now is likely to play. He's 31, I want to say, coming off the hamstring strain, had this issue last year, continued to fight and battle with the hamstring strain most of 2023, and it's followed him around. Similar to Mike Evans, he's actually had a worse time keeping this injury at bay. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to have a re-injury. That doesn't mean that, you shouldn't play Aaron Jones. In most cases, in most spots, you should probably slide Aaron Jones in unless you have an embarrassment of riches at the running back position. But there's a 28% risk of re-injury with Aaron Jones. So I'm not playing him in cash. If you want to throw him in some tournaments, I'm fine with that. Most season-long leagues, probably 10 to 12 team season-long leagues, you have to throw Aaron Jones into your lineup. Just confirm that he's active. But the re-injury risk is extremely high. And we know that Cam Akers is there now. So, it's a bit of a mess. Aaron Jones is hard to trust this week, but it does seem like, according to reports specifically, Rap Sheet says that he's going to go. So, got to do what you got to do. Just don't put a lot of faith in Aaron Jones this week. That is all. Make sure you watch your Kansas State Wildcats play against West Virginia today. Enjoy college football. We will see you next week. Good luck.